Hello and welcome to your first deep dive introspective challenge. And I want you to really start to focus on the thoughts that you have on yourself today and focus on the identity that you've created. And it's created who you are, right? All your identity has been created through a series of patterns, scripts, and stories in your mind. And today we want to start to break down who that identity is that's living inside of you and what changes we need to make to him or her or they to start to make progress in your health journey. And you may not know it, but it's already inside of you. So, quick story is that anybody can be a new person. I think everybody knows Queen Bee here, yeah? And Beyonce was like a prodigy growing up singing gospel in the church, right? And so she was brought up with strict values of that church. And whenever she started to gain popularity, she started to be asked by management to wear shorter clothing and to sing more provocative lyrics. And basically, it really had a negative impact on Beyonce's performances to get started because it just didn't match her identity of who she was inside of herself. And so, the person on the left and the dark side there is the original, and then the person on the right is who we all know as Queen Bee today. And basically, she did this by creating what she calls an alter ego named Sasha Fierce. And her second solo album is called I Am Sasha Fierce, basically, showing that transformation of her. And moral of the story is that your healthy identity is inside of you, despite if we were on the phone with you and asked you, everything standing as it is today, are you a healthy person? And if you said no, that is just, you said no, but you really just said not yet. And that is because it's inside of you, but you just need to tap into it. And so today we're going to talk about how to give yourself an identity and act accordingly. And how we know you're going to be successful is because humans will do just about anything to assure they can stay true to their word in the face of accountability, unless you're some kind of just like social. I'm missing the word for it right now. But unless you just have some kind of off switch with your social identity, which most people do not, you will do just about anything to assure that you're true to your word. And so the question I need to ask you today: who do you need to be in order to achieve your biggest, wildest dreams and desires? It may have to do with your health. It may have to do with your business or your monetary success, your personal success, whatever it may be. And today we're kind of focusing on health, but who do you need to be? Not what do you need to do. And I'll explain why it's not a question of you need to do. All right. If you choose to do things on top of who you need to be, you're basically setting yourself up for failure because there is a broken foundation there. If you do not believe you're a healthy person, you will not act as a healthy person. But if you start to believe you're a healthy person, you will start to act as a healthy person because identity-based goals will always win out over outcome-based goals. A famous philosopher once said, do or do not, there is no try, right? If you're setting new habits on top of a broken identity or on top of a broken foundation, you are just trying. You are not doing, all right? So heightening your goals without heightening your self-belief will not get you results. You have to make the decision to be, not to try, the decision to be. Because where most people mess up is that they start to try to build new habits before they start to change their beliefs and their identity about who they are as a human person, human being, or a person. All right. You cannot add healthy habits on top of a broken identity with a broken belief system. We have to work from the core, just like we would in the gym. If we're trying to get you to squat more weight or to do more work without being tired, we need to build up your core first, your breathing system, your pulmonary system, the whole thing. We need to work from the inside out. And a lot of people have this limiting belief because it's just well known and well heard. Is it? I'll believe it when I see it, right? How often have you heard that said positively? Let me just ask you that first. Myself, probably not a whole lot, right? And so I'll believe it when I see it is a huge limiting belief that so many people have. But the actual truth is, when I believe it, then I'll see it, right? If you believe it, you'll start to see it, because if you believed, honestly, you truly believed that if you will believe it when you see it, you would not ever set a goal, because goals are things that we cannot see. But yet we know that we can achieve things that we cannot see because we've seen that happen before in our lives. We've seen things happen we didn't think were going to happen. So the truth of the matter is that you'll believe it. When you believe it, then you'll see it, right? And so today what we're going to start to do is anytime we are faced with a health decision, be it food, exercise, when to rest, when to meditate, when to take time to just focus on yourself, I want you to start to ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? WWHPD, right? I'll get you a little bracelet if I need to. What would a healthy person do? And if you do that every time you're faced with a healthy decision, and this may feel like a lot of resistance to you right now, because again, your identity right now is not based off of that you are a healthy person. So you're going to start to feel some resistance, some inauthenticity. However, think about this. How likely is it that if you, every time you're faced with a health decision, over X amount of time moving forward, how likely is it that you're going to become one yourself? I'd say the odds are pretty good, right? I'd say they're very likely. And so our first action step and your first step in your journey is to be mindful of this decision that you have made for yourself today to be a healthy person. I want you to tell yourself that you're a healthy person. And when you're faced with a health decision, starting now, ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? Okay, that's all we're doing today. The next time you are faced with a health decision, what you're going to eat, how long you're going to sleep, when you need to go to bed, when are you going to work out, what kind of workouts are you going to do? Ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? And act accordingly. Okay, we're going to start to change the identity before we start to change our beliefs and before we start to change our habits. See you on the other side.